Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem. Bruchim Habayim. We're continuing Mishna Berura, Daf Hashavua, Siman Ayin Dalid. We're in the middle of the Hakdama that the Be'er Halacha brought from the Pri Megadim. We're in Beis, where the Be'er Halacha said that the din of Libay Roya Ervah Shaloi Oisha Chaveroi is only midrabanan. Says the Be'er Halacha, V'cholzeh kishu lavosh kutaines deha erva mechusa. The din of Libay Roya Ervah is only if you're wearing a cloak, a robe, where the erva itself is covered. Aval begiloi erva. But if your erva is uncovered, afal pi shalibay mechusa ve'enav einon royais. Kagain sha'oitzmam oy hoitzi rosh chutz l'chaloin afilu hachi asr likros v'lasik b'Torah. The Be'er Halacha is saying an important idea. The din of libay royas or erva, even when you take care of it, let's say you cover your heart, if the erva itself is uncovered, what would an example be? Let's say your heart is covered, your eyes don't see the erva, or you stick your head out a window. It's asr to learn. Not like the Bach in Yaradea Siman Reish to Savar de Gila Erva Leka Iser Klal, Rak Mishum Shalibay Roya Esa Erva. Not like the Shita of the Bach. The Bach holds there's no din of Giloy Erva independent of Libay Roya Esa Erva. As long as you take care of Libay Roya Esa Erva, if the Erva itself is uncovered, it's not a problem. But the Be'er Halacha says that is not so. Zeh Einoi, Rak Giloy Erva Hu Iser Minat Torah. Giloy Erva is a doiraisa. Chumash kasav arajva midachsiv lo yira b'cha ervas davar. It doesn't say v'loiksiv lo yisira. It doesn't say you should not see. Ela lo yira. It should not be seen, even if you don't see it. If others could see it, or if it's visible, it's a problem. It goes without saying, if someone is standing opposite you, it's aser medairaisa. Rak afilu ein acher oimed lenegdai aser. But even if there's no one opposite you, it's aser. K'maisha kasav Rashi b'chumash to la yira b'cha kai al hakadosh baruch hu. La yira b'cha is going on Hashem. V'imkara ve'ervasa megula tzarach lachsar v'likrais. You would have to say it again. V'isar libay rayas ever rak midrabanan lachein belibay chutz lamayim. Let's say like this: your heart is outside of the water. Or let's say your heart, the erva is in a glass, so your heart could see it. Mutter likros kriyashma v'lasik b'divrei Torah. I guess this is presuming that you can't see it. Let's say the water is dirty or the glass is not clear. Now, there's a difference between if your heart could see your own erva or your friend's erva. When it comes to your own erva, so you could separate with your arms and certainly with a belt. Or of your friend, a hefsek doesn't help. The Seif Libay Raya Ervas Chaver, because in the end, your heart sees the erva of your friend. V'tzarch dafka kisoy beveged al libay, and you dafka need a kisoy with a garment on your heart. V'chisoy bayad al libay, and covering with your hand on your heart. Loy mahani, it does not help. Afle ervas chaveroy. What about this? You need to dafka put a kisoy. This din that we say that you could be mafsik b'zroyosav, this that we say you could put your hand on your heart, it doesn't even work le'ervas chaveroi, because one guf cannot be machasa another guf. It needs to be dafka with a garment. Okay, now what if somebody's going in a robe? Someone's going only in a robe. In this case, the issue is your heart could see the erva. You're not going with a belt. You could hug your arms together, or your hand will help. For example, if you cover with your cloak on your heart. Now, what if the garment is very thin that you could see the erva through it? So it's not going to help for libay royas erva, because the same way it's not going to help for giloy erva. We'll see when it comes to the mayim, it won't help for, it will not help for libay royas erva. So if the kutaines is very thin, and the erva could be seen, it's going to have the same din as mayim, and it won't help la'enav. But it's mashna, it will work for libay roya so erva. In other words, let's say you had a very thin garment, and you hugged your arms on top of it to be mafsik. Would we then say that works? I think we would say it works. For libay roya so erva, it would work. Why? Because really, the arms are separating between the heart and the erva. Elamai ein guf mechasa guf. It's not. There's a cloth there. The cloth is not see-through. You're not able to see anyway because of the arms. The arms are separating between the heart and the erva. The only problem is of ein guf mechasa guf. So it sounds like it will work for libay royas erva, but not for giloy erva. Okay, let's come back to the Mishna Berura, Sivkat Daled. Okay. Now the Mechaber said if somebody was sleeping unclothed in a cover, you need to be chaytzeitz with a talis al libay, and then you could read Shema. Otherwise, there's an issue of libay royas erva. Says Mishna Berura mishum de libay de erva b're'iyah tali rachmana. An erva is dependent on re'iyah. K'dachsiv lo yira b'cha erva stavar umatzino lashon re'iyah b'leiv. We find the lashon of re'iyah by the heart. K'dachsiv v'libi ra'a harbe chachma. Shlomo Amel says, my heart saw a lot of wisdom. Lefikach hechmir chacham v'zeh. Therefore, as we mentioned in the Bir Halacha, giloy erva is dairaisa, royas ha'erva is dairaisa, libay royas ha'erva is darabanan. V'da. Even if your heart is covered, to be mafsik between you and the erva, your erva also needs to be covered. Vim hi megula, if the erva is covered, hiskima harbe achreinim, the asur kris minatar, many achreinim are maskim, that it's asur to read minatar. That's what we just saw in the Bir Halacha. Afilu mechusa ba'atalis, gama al roishai. Even if you cover your head with a talis, ve'inav, and your eyes, shelo yuchal liras es erva. Even if you have a blindfold that you can't see your erva, but if your erva is uncovered, you cannot say Shema. Sharei loy nemar loy sira ervas davar. It doesn't say you should not see. Elo loy yira b'cha. It should not be seen in you. Kolomer shetehim mechusa. It should be covered in a way be'inyan shelo yuchal leirois afilu achad, that should not be seen by someone else. Lefikach ha'oimed b'bayis araim. Someone who's standing unclothed in his house. V'hoitzi roishay chutz l'chalain. And he sticks his head out of the window, shelo yira erva, so as not to see his own erva. Afal pisha chatzatz bebeged al libay, even if he puts a garment on his heart as a chatzitza, harei zeh lo yikra, he cannot say Shema. Why? Kivan she'ervasai megula, since his erva is uncovered, v'niras b'bayis, and is seen in the house. Aval hayashin araim bekila. But what if someone is sleeping unclothed in a canopy bed, completely unclothed, no cover either? She'eno gavaya asar tvachim, but it's not 10 tvachim tall. V'hoitzi roishay chutzala, he sticks his head out of the canopy bed. Okay, so now think about it. He can't see his erva. V'gam chotzatz ve'ezadal hasu bein libel erva, and he puts on a shmata to separate between his heart and the erva, so he can't see the erva. He also libay Liboy Eino Royas Ervah, you'll say, but his Ervah is Megula, his Ervah is uncovered. No, his Ervah is not uncovered. Because this canopy bed is a Rishus B'fnei Atzmai, it's like it's covered. Afal Pisha Ervah Megula Bakila, even though the Ervah is uncovered in the canopy bed, Harezehu Kamachus B'talis, it's like covered in a talis. Shekivan She'en Akila Gavaya Asar Tvachim, since the kila is not 10 tvachim tall, Shem Kisoy Aleha, it's considered like it's covered, Kamay Malbush, like a garment. It's not like a house. A house, shehu chaluk rishus atzmai. A house is just a separate rishus. So you can't consider it a covering. Al kein. A house would not constitute kisoy erva. A kiloi would constitute, a canopy bed would constitute giloi erva. V'cheinim tsoya babayis. Likewise, if there's excrement in a house, b'toich arba amois, v'hoitzi roishay chutz l'chaloin, and you stick your head out of the window, this is very common. You have a baby in the house. The baby soiled his garment. The baby soiled his diaper. So he's wearing a diaper, but you smell it. Now, you stick your head out of the window. You're in a different rishus. You still can't say Shema. The shadinan roishay basar rubai. Because we drag the head after the majority of the body. Now, I'm not sure if we would be machmer even by a diaper, because there it's covered. So there maybe you only have to go out of Daled Amos, so if your head is out of the house, I'm not sure about that. But if it's uncovered saya, then the fact that you stuck your head out is irrelevant, because we drag the head after the majority of the body. Says the Magen Avraham, the Asar Afilu Das Matirin Lekamam Siman Ayin Vav Sif Daled. Even according to the Das Matirin, in Sif Daled it would be Asar. Chazonish says not like this, that the Das HaMatirim is based on Kol HaNeshama Tahalel Ka, and it goes by the nose and the mouth, and if your head is out of the house, you could say it. Okay, when we get to Siman Ayin Vav Siv Daled, we'll re-examine. What if you stick your head into a room and there's soya in that room? Do we say, well, it's not a problem because your head gets dragged after the majority of your body? No, because you could see it. So even though you're not in the same domain because your body's in a different domain, but you could see it. And according to the Rajba, that's brought in Siman Ayin Tes, it's asur even if you're standing outside, opposite the doorway, Kivan Shat Soya Kenegdai. Let's say you don't stick your head into the room that has soya. You're outside opposite the doorway. It's still a problem. Okay, one more. Siv Katan Hey. Liboy Roya Esa Ervah. Ayin B'derach HaChaim. That feel of the Yevadim Kar Krishma Spala Chayzer. That if it's Liboy Roya Esa Ervah, even B'diavad you have to say Shema and daven again. Even though we said Liboy Roya Esa Ervah is Drabanan, still, if you davened with a robe, without a belt, under a blanket, without any separation, you have to say Shema and Shemon Esrei again. V'chein muchach b'hibergadim Siman Ayin Aleph Eish Avram Oisei Oid muchach sham. Da kriya Shema choizer and berchaiseha. You would have to repeat Shema with the brachos. Im karam berias libay la'erva. If it was libay roas erva, the hachi tiknu chachamim. That's what the rabbis were masakein. Once they gave a din that libay roas erva is a problem, you would have to go back not only for Shema but for the brachos. Aval b'shar brachos yeshel histapik b'diavadim yachzar. If it was a bari nefashos, or an alamichya, or a shahakal that you'd made when it was libay royas erva, then l'chayro you could apply the rule it's a suffix whether you have to go back. Do we say libay roya? Do we say suffix drabanan lakula? Or do we say kol makom sha'amru chachamim loy saved I avad loy mahani? The rabbi said not to do it, and you did it, even though it was on a din drabanan. It doesn't work. Lamaisa, we're masupik about that. V'safik brachas lahakal.
Like Baruch Shamar and Yishtabach.
Like Baruch Shamar and Yishtabach. L'chayra.
The whole thing you did, lying in bed without your clothes on, under the sheet.
So the only thing you would have to go back is tefillah.
Because Krishma. Because Krishma.
I'm saying Shemana Esrei, he said you have to go back.
Yeah.
And Kriya Shema and Berachas Kriya Shema. Now, why do you have to go back for Shemana Esrei? Why don't we say Safek D'Rabbanan L'Kula there also? What's the difference between Shemana Esrei and Bar Nefashos? I think he addresses that in the first wide line. He says, Dahachi Tiknu Chachamim. Somehow the takana of Libay Royas or Ervah was made for Shema and Tefillah. But Stam Brachos, they never made that takana. Again, the guy's wearing a beautiful robe. The king doesn't see him, it's his own heart, see, right? Gam le'inyan tefila b'davar ha'asrun rak n'rabanan. That's what we just said, right? In other words, the Chai Adam is mashma that for Shemana Esrei you could also be lenient. Could be you could follow this shita. When it's sorry if das Rashi Rabbeinu Shmaya Talmidai Amuva B'Toisvis, that says what? That Rashi and Rabbeinu Shmaya hold there is no din of Libay Raya Ervah. There is no such din. We don't paskin that way. We paskin like the Rif and the Rambam and Shari Shainim, that there is an issue of Libay Raya Ervah, but it's good to have in your back pocket Shitas Rashi and Rabbeinu Shmaya that Libay Roya Ervah is not an issue. So this is a very interesting machlokes whether Libay Roya Ervah is only for Shema by a Dairaisa and Mamela Berachas Kriya Shema gets tagged along, or does it apply to Tefillah also? Right? Misvara, you shouldn't differentiate between Tefillah and other brachos, but unless you say there's a difference. Okay, let's hold it over here. Okay, thanks everybody. Good?
Last time.
Yeah, sorry.
We have